Counter-Strike has a very special tradition. The moment some 16-year-old gets 3 headshots in an FPL match, the community immediately declares him the next Simple. A week later, he expected to save an entire region, win a major, and somehow teach your matchmaking teammates not to first buy after losing the pistol round. But great talent does not always lead to a great career. Today we are looking at 5 Counter-Strike players who had the mechanics, the statistics, and the early results to become superstars, but never fully reached the level their potential appeared to promise. And just to be clear, these are not bad players. Some of them reached major finals, won huge tournaments, and even became world number 1. The question is not whether they were successful, the question is how much more they could have achieved.
They're trying to see if they can end this map right here, right now. CerQ covering for the flank. Tariq down on the low ground. Another kill for CerQ, make it a triple. And now Tariq, not been a great hunt map for him either. And he's going to be going down, leaving it all up to CerQ. And no one defusing the bomb yet. He sees one, oh, he flicks, he got the kill. Now a quad, can he save it? Can he get the double OT? CerQ, you've got to be kidding me. He takes down...
Number 5. CerQ. In 2018 and 2019, CerQ looked like the future of the world-class AWPing. He was fast, aggressive, and played every angle as if he legally owned it. His first recorded team was a small Bulgarian lineup called Win Fiction. CerQ joined them in 2016 and finished the year with the 1.14 HLTV rating across 60 maps, already impressive numbers for a teenage AWPer playing his first serious competition. The roster later became Outlaws, one of the strongest teams in the Balkan region, and CerQ quickly attracted international attention. In 2017 he joined Energy. That was when he went from promising Bulgarian prospect to legitimate international star. With Energy and later Evil Geniuses, CerQ became one of the most aggressive AWPers in the scene. In 2019 the teams reached the semifinals of the Berlin Major, won ESL 1 New York and Star Series Season 8 and briefly became number 1 team in the world. CerQ himself finished the year as the HLTV's 18th best player. At that point, becoming a permanent top 10 AWPer seemed like the obvious next step. Instead, Evil Geniuses started declining. The roster changed constantly. The team lost its identity and CerQ's individual form slowly disappeared with it. He eventually left Evil Geniuses in 2023. He continued playing afterward, but now returned to his 2019 level. CerQ became the kind of player people describe with one sentence. Do you remember how good he was on Energy? And that might be the saddest compliment in esports. Number 4. Obo. In 2019, Complexity signed Obo. He was 15 years old. At 15, most people are still trying to convince their parents that a bad grades has absolutely nothing to do with playing Counter-Strike for 6 hours every evening. Meanwhile, Obo was preparing to compete against the best teams in the world. His first HLTV recorded team was Adaptation, a small North American lineup. But Complexity was his first real professional opportunity. Despite the enormous jump in competition, Obo finished 2019 with a respectable 1.04 rating. That number doesn't look incredible until you remember that he was 15 and 16 years old and already playing against established international professionals. And the most impressive part was that he looked comfortable. When Complexity rebuilt around BlameF, Poison, Config, Rush and Obo, the team suddenly became dangerous. In 2020, they won the Blast Premier Spring Europe Finals and climbed to number 5 in the world. It looked like Obo had found the perfect environment to develop. Then the pandemic changed everything. Complexity remained in Europe for an extended period, while Obo was far away from home with no clear idea of when the team would return to North America. In September 2020, he stepped down the roster. He later joined Evil Geniuses, but that opportunity never restarted his career. That is what makes Obo such an interesting case. He disappeared from top-level Counter-Strike while he was still incredibly young. The talent was obvious. But talent does not protect you from burnout, bad timing or circumstances that cannot be solved by playing another hour of deathmatch. Number 3. Sergej. Before ENCE became a meme, a song and a major finalist, Sergej was already considered the future of Finnish Counter-Strike. His first recorded team was Skid Light. In 2017 he joined Havu and played under Alexi B. That year Sergej finished with around a 1.24 rating overall and 1.25 on LAN. And he was only 15. At 15 most of us still learning Mirage window smokes. Sergej was statistically outperforming almost the entire Finnish scene. In 2018 he joined the new ENCE roster with Alexei, Alu, Ariel, and X7. The team quickly became internationally competitive. At Star Series Season 6, 16-year-old Sergej won the tournament MVP award. Then came 2019. ENCE reached the final of the IM Katowice Major, defeated several elite teams, and climbed as high as number 2 in the world. Sergej finished the year as HLTV's 13th best player. He was 17. It looked like Finland had found a superstar for the next decade. Then ENCE removed Alexei. The team system collapsed, results declined, and Sergej's individual level fell with them. By the end of 2020, he was struggling with motivation and stepped away from the active roster before beginning his military service. He later attempted a comeback, most notably with Gorillas, but never returned to the level he had shown in the ENCE. And that's the frustrating part. Sergej didn't decline after reaching his prime. He was 17 when ENCE reached the medal final. We may never have seen his prime at all. Number 2. Config. Config had almost everything required to become a superstar: incredible mechanics, aggression, confidence, and the emotional energy of a man who treated every lost duel as a personal attack against the entire nation of Denmark. His rise was extremely fast. He became known in 2015 while playing for Reason under Hunden. Soon afterward, he reserved opportunities with FK, Copenhagen Wolves, and eventually Dignitas. With Dignitas and later NOS, Config became one of the most explosive riflers in the professional Counter-Strike. In 2017, HLTV ranked him as the 14th best player in the world. And when Config was confident, the statistics almost didn't matter. You could see the talent immediately. He entered bomb sites like the defenders had personally insulted his family, but his career never developed consistently. There were roster changes, periods of poor form, injuries, and surgeries. With complexity, he started looking like an elite player again, but a serious hand injury interrupted the team's progress. Later, he joined Astralis. In 2022, he had conflict in Malta, and shortly afterward, he and Astralis ended their contract. There were more attempts with NIP and other teams, but the consistency never truly returned. In 2025, Config retired from professional player. His career was still successful. He played for some of the biggest organizations in the Counter-Strike and competed at the highest level for years. But when you watch peak Config, it's difficult not to wonder what his career could have looked like with more stability. Because at his best, he genuinely looked capable of becoming one of the greatest riflers of his generation. Number 1 is Kjaerbye. And this might be the most paradoxical career of the entire list. Before the major trophy and MVP medal, Kjaerbye was already considered one of the Denmark's brightest young prospects. He played for smaller teams before joining Copenhagen Wolves in 2014. That year, at only 16, he averaged a 1.18 rating across 61 maps and an even stronger 1.18 on LAN. When Copenhagen Wolves became Dignitas, Kjaerbye continued developing against the international competition. Then, in 2016, Astralis signed him, and everything accelerated. He finished that year as the 16th best player in the world. Then, at 18 years old, Kjaerbye won the E-League Major 2017 with Astralis and received the tournament MVP award. At the time, he became the youngest major MVP in CS history. Imagine being 18, you're already a major champion, you are the MVP, you are playing for one of the strongest teams in the world. Every possible door in your career is open, and Kjaerbye to the door marked North. At the beginning of 2018, he unexpectedly left Astralis to join the Danish rivals. Astralis replaced him with Magisk, and they the process to begin the greatest era in CS history, winning 3 consecutive majors. To be fair, Kjaerbye still had successful moments with North. They won DreamHack Masters Stockholm 2018, and he remained a dangerous player, but the team never became what Astralis became. Kjaerbye later explained that winning a major and becoming MVP at such a young age had been psychologically difficult and affected his motivation. His later career included North, FaZe, Endpoint, and several comeback attempts, but never again became a consistent elite level player. And that is why he is number 1. Kjaerbye reached the top before most players even enter professional Counter-Strike. He had the talent, he had the statistics, he had the trophy, he had the right team, and he had time. The only thing missing was the continuation. The stories of these 5 players show why potential in Counter-Strike is never a guarantee. CerQ went from unknown Bulgarian teams to the #1 team in the world, although entered international competition at 15. Sergej was a major finalist at 17. Config looked capable of becoming an elite rifler, and Kjaerbye was a major MVP at 18. But building a legendary career requires more than a talent. You need the right teammates, the right roles, a stable organization, health, motivation, discipline, and sometimes just good timing. So the next time the community calls another 16-year-old prospect the next simple, maybe we should allow him to play one full season first? Because professional Counter-Strike is a marathon. Just a marathon where every few months you can get benched, receive a new captain, and be told that your positions now belong to somebody else. Who do you consider the greatest unfulfilled talent in the Counter-Strike history? Leave your pick in the comments.